Okay, so what I'm going to do is walk you through the actual parts of the Carpodgo. So inside the box, they give you plenty of parts. This is obviously the main screen. The main screen has a magnetic mount, and it's actually a very strong magnet, but it's not so strong that you can't easily unmount it and take this part and put it away. Say you could take it out of the car, put it in your pocketbook, or you could put it in your book bag or whatever. We'll get to that part later. So inside, they have a couple of pieces of instructions. But as you can see here, this is the typical mount. You've seen these before, so it's very, very simple. First, you mount this portion right here onto glass. Then you adjust this to your viewing angle, this stalk right here. And then the ball and socket joint that they have. Well, you have this ball and socket joint right here. They give you 3M tape. You have another ball and socket joint. Now this one is short because this one is designed so that it doesn't have a long distance between your dashboard and your face. The other one is specifically for the glass. Then right here, they give you yet another. So as you can see, more 3M tape. There's many different ways to mount these. So what else do we have? We have more pieces of 3M tape for mounting. This right here is the rear view camera. Now, it's very difficult to actually demonstrate or to actually give you a use case for the rear view camera. Very simply because there's some people who might use this to tow. So, like, for example, I have an uncle and he goes to Carlisle. He takes his cars, his hand-built cars. He has Ford cars, Capris, Mercors, Cortinas, whatever. And he uses a navigator and a trailer. And he drives his cars, 200 miles to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Now, when he does that, his trailer doesn't have a rear view camera. So by having a rear view camera that you can set up in any way that you want to set up, it makes it so that you can basically use the Carpodgo as a rear view camera to help you to back up. Now, chances are you're not going to do too much backing up when you're driving a trailer, but something like this absolutely does come in handy. In fact, I think it's a federal mandate that new cars have rear backup cameras, even if they don't have the rear ultrasonic sensors. So a backup camera is always a good thing. It can help you to protect pedestrians. There are some people who've accidentally run over their children because their children come out to greet them and they didn't see them and they back up into them. And I understand that that's a macabre thing to think, but it's important that I explain to you every single reason why you'd want to have a rear backup camera. So now this part gets interesting. This right here is simply a USB-A to USB-C adapter. But why would you need that? Well, there's a simple reason. Say you have a car that doesn't have Bluetooth. And if you have one of those older cars, like let's say you got like a Toyota Camry 1992, like I have another uncle who actually has a 1992 Toyota Camry. Say you have an old Nissan Maxima. Say you have an old Nissan Sentra. Say you have anything that doesn't have Bluetooth built in. You could even have an old Mercedes S-Class. Say you have an old Mercedes S-Class S550 and you never got the Bluetooth adapter. What this right here is it's USB-A to 3.5 millimeter. So what this does right here is you plug this part right here into the aux jack, and then you plug this USB into this port right here for USB, and then you plug that to USB-C just in case you actually need it, because some cars may have adapters that others don't. But the reason why is because what you're doing is you're adding Bluetooth to the car. So they actually are giving you a Bluetooth adapter that plugs into USB 3. It's a USB-A adapter that plugs into a 3.5 millimeter jack, and then you're getting power for it from the car. Now, there's two ways to get power. Either you can use a USB-C port to power this. Or they also give you this 12-volt adapter. And this 12-volt adapter, when you plug that USB port into here, that means that you have power from your cigarette lighter. And when you plug this into the auxiliary port, this will allow you to have Bluetooth. So you got a Bluetooth adapter that plugs in to the 12-volt cigarette adapter. But once you have that set up, this portion right here, as you can see, is USB-C, and this plugs directly into the Carpodgo, because the Carpodgo's power delivery is USB-C only. So we'll look at that in a minute. But those are the accessories. So they've pretty much thought of just about every scenario you would need to take an old car and to update it so that you can use your iPhone or your iPad or your Android phone on this device. So if you, like, for example, why would you need this? Like, let's think about for a second, why would you need this? In some states, if you get caught holding your cell phone, they treat it damn near like almost like you've committed like a misdemeanor. They will give you a 5-point summons to court that you can't win. If you get caught holding your phone, they'll bring you to court. They give you 5 points on your license. And then they may even charge you a driver assessment fee of $300 to $400. That's what New York does. So that is one of the reasons why a device like this is extremely important. So you can't have your cell phone in your hand while you're driving at all. But you still want to be able to access your phone, your music, Google Maps, your messages. You still want to be able to access your main apps. Like, let's say you use Waze and you drive a lot. That's one of the reasons why you absolutely need this. And if you don't have this one, you're going to want something similar. Some people are settled just putting their phone on a mount. But guess what you don't get? You don't get the option for a rear vacuum camera. You don't get the option for a wider, larger display. As you can see, this display right here is twice the size of even the largest iPhone. Right now, the largest iPhone is the 16 Pro Max. This is twice the size of the largest iPhone. This is about 30% to 40% more screen area than even the largest Android phone that's not a specialized folding tablet. So when you have one of these, it actually can make your old car, regardless what it is, feel slightly more up to date. There are a lot of supercars that don't even come with displays like this. For example, if you bought a Bugatti Chiron or a Bugatti Veyron, you don't get anything like this because they felt, oh, it'll date the car and we don't want to put a touch screen in and it'll make the car look old. The cars already look old. But this device right here can be used to update old cars, can be used to update new cars. The only stipulation is that if the car itself doesn't have Bluetooth, most new cars have Bluetooth, that you have a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack. So basically, cars built in the 2000s, for the most part, had auxiliary jacks because they were looking out for people who had iPods. Newer cars pretty much have either an auxiliary jack and Bluetooth and USB, or they'll have at least some mixture of those. The older cars, once you go below 2000, the older cars, in many cases, you may not have gotten any of this. You may have gotten a simple radio head unit with FM radio, AM radio, and that was it. So the thing about it is, how can you plug this into an old car that came with just a radio head unit that didn't have any of these connections? Well, the beautiful thing is these Carpodgos have FM transmitters built in. So that means that if you tune to a radio station, you can actually transmit directly to that radio station. And even if you have a very old car, you can still just use the Carpod to go through the radio station. I'll try to show you that, even though I don't have an old car that just has, old head unit. Those cars pretty much have been crushed. except unless you're driving around in a classic. So let's get to that right now. Let's take a look at the Carpodgo unit. Okay, so this is the Carpodgo unit. Just fold this over, protect the glass. Now, the magnet, as I told you, is very strong. So as you can see, this is the ball and socket joint that will later join the mount or mounts, depending upon which one you use. Just by lifting this, you can take this magnet apart. This is a very strong magnet, so the force is considerable. So this thing, with one hand, some people may not even be able to lift it off. You may have to pry it because this thing is very, very strong. As you can see, it lifts the whole thing very easily. It's a very, very strong joint. So if you're the type of person who leaves stuff in your car, you don't have to worry about car theft and everything, oh yeah, that'll be fine. But if you're the type of person who absolutely wants to take this apart and put it in your purse, or you put it in your book bag or your laptop or whatever, you can do that too. It's just that, you just have to lift it with two hands because the magnet's going to... But then again, once this thing is actually mounted properly, that'll give you the leverage to simply just pull this off. But you have to have enough leverage to do that against that magnet. So this is the unit. As you can see, very large touchscreen right here. All the details and specs will be in the description of this device. And also I will put the URL for the manufacturer so you can actually see all of the relevant information. We're not interested in the non-relevant information. It's vented so that you can prevent the buildup of heat. So you have some vents on the back, more vents. So right here, as you can see, we have USB-C, and that is to power it on for power. You also have the USB connection just in case you decide to use the adapter for USB that's included. You also have a mic. There's a mic hole right here, the second hole. You have audio video in, which is obviously for the rear view camera. However, other things can be plugged to that audio video in because these things aren't very specific. And then the last port is the audio out. So audio out can be used to go 3.5 millimeter directly to the car itself if you have an auxiliary jack, or you can plug this in using Bluetooth and it will broadcast to the car, or you can use the FM transmitter that's built in. So they've pretty much thought of everything for the most part. So it's a very nice unit. I'm not going to take this film off right here. I'm going to leave that part on. So in order to power this unit, of course, I need a USB-C power source. So what I'm going to do is I made a video already of this device right here. This was the new Q Apple, iPhone, Android, and Apple Watch charger. So I'm going to use this right here with a USB plug. And I can power the unit on the go rather than being in the car. So when I actually take it to the car, the only thing I'm going to show you is mounting it. But mounting it is extremely simple. Most people have some windshield mounted device at this point because a lot of people use Uber or a lot of people use Lyft services and they need a second device or they need to mount their cell phone directly to their windshield. So most people have gotten experience with things like this. So yeah, I'm just going to plug this in and I'm going to show you the power up. Okay, so here's our power source, our wire, and just plug it in. Those USB-C connections are tight. All right. Carpodgo. So it greets you with the time. Right now it is. I plugged the Carpodgo in. It connected to my phone wirelessly. So let's understand. This offers wireless Carpodplay. So if you have an Android phone, it'll do the same thing. So that's the Carpodgo main screen. As you can see, this is the Apple iOS system. Anytime I make any change, it's going to automatically pause the video and stop it because it's accessing my phone, but my phone is also recording video, so the resources are taxing. So let's say that you're looking for charging stations for your electric car. Well, I have ChargePoint and I have Electrify America. I also have the EVgo app, but I guess the EVgo app just didn't show up. Let's say that you want to listen to Zoom calls or you want to listen to Skype in your car. Well, obviously you can do that too. The one thing I will say that's kind of a downside is that this doesn't also include its own camera. If this included its own camera, you'd literally be able to do Zoom calls directly from the device. But for the most part, they kind of relegate that to the iPhone itself or whatever phone you happen to be using. As you can see, you have Spotify, Teams. Some of my apps for shopping popped up like Target. I use WeChat because that's the only thing that they allow in China. They don't allow you to use Facebook Messenger, and they also don't allow you to use Instagram. So I use WeChat in order to talk to my Chinese girls. Let's see. We have SiriusXM. If you want to use SiriusXM in conjunction with any other app, obviously you can. So there's a lot of you people who are truckers. One of these devices that I got, I actually gave to one of my cousins. He's a trucker, and I wanted him to use it because it was a large touchscreen. And he was, I made a review about it. One of the last reviews I made, so you'd have to look back a couple of reviews. I forgot what the name of the device was, but it seemed to work pretty well. So other than that, you have the typical Apple settings, and on this page right here, you also have, the Apple Now playing. Now, keep in mind, you have access to Apple Maps. On iOS 18, Apple Maps has been updated, but most people prefer to use Google Maps. I know I do. I prefer to use Google Maps. There's also obviously one touch to get to your phone. There's also one touch to get to your messages. There's also podcasts and audiobooks. I don't use really podcasts or audiobooks, but, if you're the type of person that listens to that stuff, fantastic. You also have very quick access to your calendar just in case you need to know what you're supposed to do for whatever reasons. Different people use their phone in different ways. So basically, that's that. The Carpodgo has built-in speakers. So really quickly, I'm going to show you what that's like, but I'm not going to let you listen to music too long because YouTube, gives you copyrights. What I usually do is I listen to video game music because this way, if I'm recording, the video game music is usually not copyrighted, so I don't have to worry about YouTube getting me a copyright strike. So I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so if we hit music, as you can see, it jumps right to Mega Man. What music do we have? Snake Eyes, Overloaded. And the speaker on here is actually quite good. So if you're the type of person who isn't trying to play through the car speakers and you just want to listen to, you want to listen to the music or you want to listen to speech directly from this device, you can do that directly from the device. So let's just check out the speakers. So understand, there's different ways to do this. If the device here wants to broadcast to your car, that's what you need all of the Bluetooth accessories for. If you want to listen to the speakers that are right in the device, you can play right from the device. If you want to listen to the speakers from your phone, you can have it play through your phone. But there's lots of different options here. There's plenty of different options here. So, it's up to you. It really is up to you. Let's take a quick look at the interface right here. Obviously, that's the button that takes you to Apple Carplay. Obviously, that's the button that takes you to Android Auto. Obviously, this one right here is for Bluetooth if you want to listen to something Bluetooth through the speakers from the device. This is brightness. It's a very bright and it's a colorful screen. You have like over 16 million colors. This one right here activates the system dialogue. So you have a bunch of languages: English, French, Spanish, Chinese, simplified Chinese, traditional, Japanese, Portuguese. I believe this is Thai, if I'm not mistaken. I know that's Russian, Malaysian, German, Italian, Dutch, and Polish. So you got plenty of languages right here. The settings here are which ones are audio output. So they give you a nice little dialogue and they say, do you want to output through FM radio? Do you want to output through the auxiliary? I have to go back because it doesn't let you keep that screen open very long. Do you want to output through the speaker itself, or do you want to output through Bluetooth? So let's try speaker. The audio output has changed and needs to be restarted. Okay, fine. So I've just changed it to speaker and I need to reset the system. So now what I can do is, it says please turn on Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on your phone. Let's also take a quick look at how this thing is mounted. There's a mounting push button right here, and basically that's what creates the seal. So when this is stuck to something, all you do is slide your finger, and right now it can't do it because I have the tape on there, but I'll pull the tape off. Yeah, there's no reason. I'll just try to save the tape so I can use it later. So anyway, yeah, this is sticky in and of itself a little, but that's like a help. So basically just put that there and boom, that ain't going nowhere. Take it off, create a little bit of an air imbalance, and it comes right off. You see, very secure mount for your car. Making a video using the video camcorder on iPhone while simultaneously using the resources from the phone itself through one of these devices is a little bit tricky. But basically at this point, I'm just providing a voiceover just to show you that in my car, this is what Apple CarPlay looks like on the 9K screen that's inside my Lyric. Now, I typically don't use Apple CarPlay because the Lyric also has built-in Google Maps. Unfortunately, for Cadillac, they're planning to take Apple CarPlay out of their cars entirely. I guess it's because it doesn't integrate the way they want it to, or probably the bottom line is money. They want more money for having whatever navigation system they have in their device. But when you look at this device, the Carpodgo, what you see is the exact same screen mirroring with a slightly different brightness on the screen, obviously, because my screen in my car is obviously a lot higher in quality. It's a 9K screen versus this screen, which is absolutely easy to see, easy to use. The only thing is the display resolution and the quality is not 9K. So as you can see, what I did was I plotted a course to show you what it would look like if you say, yeah, I want to go from, say, New York to California. All you would have to do is whatever you would do, ask Siri, you say, yeah, I want you to give me directions to Los Angeles. Or you could say, Siri, give me directions to, wherever, whatever state, whatever address. It works the exact same way. I've played with it a little bit. I've been playing with it for a while. The only downside is, again, it's a very tricky trying to record when you're, trying to record using the resources on the actual phone itself. Because ultimately, CarPlay is coming from your phone. It's not coming from the device. Even in my car, CarPlay is coming directly from the phone, not from the car. So I personally like using Apple CarPlay simply because any vehicle that I have has pretty much the ability to use it. I rented a Chevy Colorado, and the Chevy Colorado had Apple CarPlay, and I was able to use it in order to basically mimic having a full touchscreen navigation system. But now you take a look at these older cars that are so old that they don't have anything digital, everything's analog. the ability to upgrade them with a device like this is always, in my opinion, very welcomed. When you mount this device, the only thing they ask you to do is mount it so that it's actually resting on the dashboard or resting on something. They believe that it's kind of dangerous to leave the device free floating. Now, if you have a tight enough mount, or if you make modifications to the mount, yeah, you could make it so that, you won't have to worry about it ever like if you get into a car accident, you wouldn't have to worry about this thing becoming a projectile. So they wanted you to mount it so that it's actually resting on the dashboard or resting on something else. It's a great device. It's a really cool device. I like the ability to upgrade older cars, or to give your cars the functionality of a digital device, being able to listen to your Apple iPhone, being able to listen to all your music, podcasts, and whatever. I like it. This, again, is the mount, and I would like to also show that the mount has a bit of telescoping that it can do. So this mount can stretch pretty far, especially like if you have cars that have very, very long windshields that are far away. Like, for example, like if you had a Tesla Cybertruck. So we just peel this off. I'm gonna hold on to that because I don't want to lose that. And let's say I put it right, like this is just a test, but let's say I put it right there. And then you pull the button down, and there it goes. It's very secure. So now, if you want to angle this down, all you do is angle it down, right? So of course, I would never put this right here, because the thing about it is it obstructs your view for the most part. But let's just say, for example, I did, which I'm not. So then you just take this, and I'll just turn it to the side so you can see it easy. And it just sticks. What's this? Sucks right on there. See that? Took me, how long were you counting? How long did that take? I don't know. It was it was like 1:11. Were you counting? It took me like what? Less than a minute. Maybe less than a minute. So you get out of the car and you want to take this thing with you. So all you do is you just reach up there, pop, and it's gone. And that's it. Now, of course, you could secure it a little bit tighter if you like really, really work with it a little bit. But you get the point. I mean, that's it. It's like so simple. It's so easy, right? So unpop and just peel it just a little to get the air pressure out. And there you go. And it just comes right off. So, you could mount it, to my glass panoramic roof. You could mount it like wherever you need to mount it. If you're a truck driver, maybe mount it over here. Like, these Uber driver guys. These Uber driver guys have usually their phone is over here. So you put it right there. Slide the telescope back just a little bit. And, you just put that right there and like right there. Just turn it up. Whoop, there you go. See? What did that take? 30 seconds, maybe? I think, obviously, you could probably do it faster, but, that's the thing. It just works. I mean, and then you just plug it in, and you've got your Apple Carplay. So that's basically it. I mean, cool device, iPhone mirroring, Apple CarPlay, Android Play for older vehicles that don't have it. And it's cool. So, again, if you have questions, comments, criticisms, all you got to do, let me know, and I will definitely get right back to you.